Hello and welcome to Catalyst Conversations. This week, I'm privileged to be joined by Daniel Tartak, CEO and co-founder of Bingo Industries. Welcome to the show, Daniel.
Thank you, Ben. Pleasure to be here.
Awesome. So, look, your purpose is close to my heart. Waste-free Australia. When we think about recycling as a whole and everything that's required to change and evolve recycling, particularly in this country, what's Bingo's part in that?
Well, we're first and foremost a recycling business. So our part is to really ensure that we're doing our very best to recycle everything that we handle and ultimately reuse what we can handle. But also our part is also to educate businesses, community, government, and various stakeholders on what recycling is. And we do that via a variety of means. With school kids, we have various excursions come through the business every year. We do a lot of community days with our sponsors like the GWS Giants. But our job is to provide technical solutions. We need to find the best ways of recycling and bring it to this country.
Yeah, right. And so from a technology perspective, I'm sure that sort of has investment implications. I hear a lot about smart bins, and what sort of technology investments are you guys looking at?
Well, technology's probably been one of the biggest reasons for our success. We're constantly looking at new technologies. Right now, we're actually building what we believe to be the world's biggest dry recycling facility. And we're building that at our ecology park in Eastern Creek in the heart of Western Sydney. So that is technology of the best recycling solutions across the globe we're bringing here. Very automated machinery. It's going to do high tons per hour, very high recovery rates, and probably leading recovery rates around the globe. That's what we're doing at the moment. Very excited about that project. But also for us, it's not just about technology. It's about people. Our people actually have a passion for the change and a real commitment to our vision of pushing for a waste-free Australia.
That's pretty powerful, and it's obvious to understand why your people would get behind a purpose and a mission like yours. Having spoken to a few of your employees, they tell us a lot about the culture, and particularly the family feel of the culture. How did you create that? And tell us a bit about how you plan to sustain it as the company grows with the success.
Okay, well, the Bingo culture was really built on strong personal relationships. And still today, those relationships exist, and we continue to form them as the Bingo family grows. The way we look after our Bingo family, I think, is important. We ultimately celebrate together, we laugh together, and we cry together. I think we do the basics. We just look after each other. And we do this by a variety of different means. But when you start a business and it's small, it's very easy to know everybody. And as you grow, it's actually become a lot harder. And for us, that is harder today. We've got 1,100 people. But we really try and make a big effort to be present, to speak to our employees, and to help them feel the Bingo buzz. And once you catch the buzz, it actually follows you around this place. The biggest challenge will be, how do we sustain it? I want to grow. I don't want to stray from our roots. It's a fine balance. I believe if we can help others feel it, they'll pass it on to everybody through the company. It's a bit like a smile. You can't help smile when somebody else does. So yeah, I think we can do a good job of doing that.
It's very powerful. I think a lot of companies could learn from that mindset. Particularly as organizations are looking at moving from monologue, sort of top down, and what you're talking about is a very dialogue, community-based environment. Your heart's clearly well embedded in the organization. Tell us about your fondest or earliest memory of Bingo.
Okay, well, having spent pretty much most of my life here, there's definitely a few of those, as we've achieved obviously so many great milestones. We've building our first recycling facility was one. Obviously IPO in the business and joining the ASX 200. Even recently creating the vision of building the world's largest recycling ecology park in Eastern Creek. But I would honestly have to say that it's the friendships that I've made with so many of the Bingo family. Really, that's the draw card to this business for me. And that's really what continues to motivate me in wanting to grow and be part of this business.
Yeah, wow. So, I mean, from an energy perspective, you can see how that would help maintain energy. And the business has clearly been on a roller coaster in terms of scale, IPOing, and now COVID, something that we've all, experienced. How has COVID impacted your employees and their well-being?
Well, it definitely had. This is a bit of a shock, obviously, to the whole world. We've had a variety of different impacts for employees. Our field-based go-getters have still been in their trucks and on site working as we're an essential service. Our office-based employees have been working from home, but our main focus has been really focusing on how do we support their mental, emotional, physical, and financial well-being, obviously as best as we can. Our goal also was to ensure that we didn't make a role redundant. And pleasingly, I'm very happy to say we've achieved this to date. Hasn't come without the headaches and a lot of sacrifices by the whole Bingo family coming together, but we've achieved it. That's definitely taken a lot of pressure off a lot of people. We've also provided resources for mental health and well-being. We're particularly focused on gratitude, as well as meditation through things like yoga and Pilates.
Yeah, wow. So it's quite a holistic approach in terms of support. You hear a lot of organizations, physical, mental well-being of their employees. You don't hear too many talk about also the financial well-being of them. So that's pretty powerful. And one of the things I wanted to note was that historically waste management and recycling seems to be quite a male-dominated sort of industry, but Bingo feels pretty balanced in terms of gender. Is that something that you've consciously driven, or?
Yeah, so I believe we're quite a diverse organisation, just not in gender, but in age, ethnicity, and social economic status. To be honest, I think it happened quite organically in this business, and something we've probably embraced a lot more of in recent years. One thing I'm very happy about in this business is that we've been able to provide meaningful work and opportunities to people that can't get jobs elsewhere because they're either unskilled or unqualified, or because in Australia their qualifications aren't recognised. We've made such a difference to people's lives and their families' lives, and we're really grateful we've been able to do that. But the more we've matured, the more targeted we've been in ensuring that we're as inclusive as possible, especially with the disadvantaged group. We're definitely on a journey over the next few years. I really want to see more women in our ranks, and I think we're doing a really good job in our office. But there's a lot more work we could do and grow the field-based roles.
Right. Yeah, I was listening to Jack Ma, the CEO of Alibaba, the other day, and he was talking about how the gender balance has allowed him to be more customer-centric because he feels that female leaders are better at empowering their teams than the traditional male leaders. So some interesting perspectives on impact on performance.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. You get a different perspective on things, a wider variety of views, and we have a lot of women in our workforce, especially in the office, and it's a great dynamic. But yeah, I want to see it continue on through the rest.
Yeah, yeah, and I think as you continue to strive towards your mission, and in fact, I want to bring us back to your purpose of a waste-free Australia. Is corporate Australia doing everything it should be doing in terms of a waste-free Australia?
Well, my simple answer is no, but we are improving. Ever since the China sword policy, where the Chinese banned a lot of the waste streams that were leaving Australia and many other countries a few years ago, we've seen some of our customers start to mature, where they're actually starting to care what happens to their waste. But not everyone cares. And for me, that's the real problem we have in this country. But over the last few years, tenders have become more sophisticated, and the drive for a more sustainable solution that is recycling-led is becoming more dominant, which is a great thing. But do I think corporate Australia can do more? Yes. Are they? Yes, but I want it to happen faster.
For all the corporates watching right now, what's the one thing you would suggest that they consider in terms of educating their employees and their own policies?
There's a lot of basics to what you can do and recycle, and they're quite simple actually. But I think if people start caring where their waste goes, what happens to it, and look to a provider that can ultimately turn that waste into something else, reuse it or repurpose the waste, it'll help their mindset. but people just need to care. Right now, there's a lot of corporates that don't care. They just chase the cheapest disposal option, where there's a lot more to it these days.
Yep. No, that's a smart way of looking at it. Thanks for sharing that. And one of the things I wanted to sort of delve into a little bit deeper is what insights, in terms of what we don't know, what can we learn from what Australians throw away?
Well, we throw away too much, I can tell you that. We're probably one of the world's most wasteful countries. We're definitely in the top 5.
Is that right?
Yeah, and so by throwing a lot away, I think it's created a lot of opportunities for Bingo. It gives us opportunity to reuse most of it, and we've got a diversion target of 100% over the next 5 years. So that ultimately means that we can turn waste into a resource, and we do that to the majority of our waste streams today. But that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah, right. Okay. So it's a big goal. I mean, I'm quite surprised by we're in the top 5. So that's global?
Yeah, globally, per capita.
Right. Gosh. And which state is the biggest culprit?
New South Wales, probably because the biggest population, the biggest economy, the majority of our businesses here.
Yeah, right. Okay. Now, Dan, I want to ask you a question so we can get to know you a little bit better. If you could invite 3 people, dead or alive, to dinner at your house, what would you cook and who would you invite?
I'd definitely be cooking a barbecue. I love my barbecue. Probably 2 days a week I'm on the barbecue cooking a variety of meats. Who would I invite? Okay, number 1 would be Jesus Christ. I'm a very strong Christian, very strong faith. This would be absolutely incredible to spend some time with him. The reason we're on this earth is because of him, from my point of view, and the sacrifices he's made. Secondly would be Michael Jordan. Probably the most passionate, driven, relentless person I've ever seen in sport. There's so much to learn from his commitment to his game and his pursuit for greatness. Thirdly would be probably Steve Jobs, a guy who I think has changed the way we all look at technology, the way we innovate, and obviously the way we communicate with each other. So he's transformed the world. For me, a true innovator, forward thinker. And those 3 very different people to each other, but I believe I could learn a lot from those 3 and be very interesting conversation.
What an incredible dinner or barbecue that would be.
I don't know if they'd all get along with each other, but interesting.
Well, that would certainly be interesting too, wouldn't it? But I just watched the documentary, obviously on Netflix with about Michael Jordan. Very powerful stuff. And look, in the spirit of learnings, this is a question that I ask every CEO, and that is, if you could travel back in time and visit yourself on day 1 of this job, what advice would you give yourself?
Good question, actually. So it's been pretty much 5 days in a couple of days. Sorry, 5 years in a couple of days. It'd be for me. So what would I say to myself? I'd say, Daniel, go believe in yourself. Do what comes naturally. Go with your guts. And to be a great leader, you really need to form strong relationships and have the ability to influence others. And if you do that, you're on the right track. Great.
I think the relationship piece is ringing loud and clear for you and the Bingo family. Dan, I want to say thank you for taking the time, sharing your insights and your learnings. It's been very insightful and certainly appreciated.
You're very welcome. It's an honor to be here. I'm happy to share. Thank you.
Brilliant. Well, wish you and the Bingo team all the success for your next chapter.
Cheers, Ben. Thank you.